Hey, this is Brian Wheat from Tesla, and you're on Backstage Access, where the real show begins.
Hey, this is Chris with Backstage Access, and we have today with us Brian Wheat of Tesla, who is here to chat with us about his terrific new book, Son of a Milkman, My Crazy Life with Tesla. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to call in and chat with us today. We do appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
And how are you today? Are you snowed in up there, or are you cleared out for now?
Well, it's snowing. I don't know if I'm snowed in. I don't really think I want to go outside, but I'm not snowed in, but it's snowing. Yeah, it's coming down.
Nice. Whereabouts in New York are you? Central or?
Central, yeah.
Okay.
I'm in the Finger Lakes.
Oh, okay. I'm originally from Buffalo, so we're used to the.
Yeah, I'm by Syracuse almost.
Okay, well, you get it just as bad there, I guess. When it comes, it comes. But let's talk about the book. I really enjoyed reading it. It's honest and insightful, and I think it really gives the readers a whole good look into not only the band, of course, but you personally and the whole development of Tesla. But I wanted to talk first about the title of the book, because if you've read the book, obviously, then you know that your father wasn't present. You didn't know who he was as you were a young child, and the effect that that had on you. So by choosing that as a title, was that just something that kind of had a good ring to it, or did you want to just kind of confront that issue head on with the title of the book?
Well, I just thought it that's where it started, right?
Right.
Was from the milkman. I just thought it was a bit of humor. Sometimes you approach the heaviest things with a bit of humor to make them a little lighter.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you've been very open in the book about your anxiety issues and depression. And, for it to have started way back then, what was kind of the process of the book? Because I know that you have been writing things down as a result of going to therapy and things like that. But what was the process kind of putting the stories together and the direction of the book for you like? Was it therapeutic? Was it difficult?
It was kind of cathartic in a lot of ways. It was liberating. There's a sense of when you put stuff out there and you let it go into the universe, that you set yourself free from it. So in that sense, I felt that it was liberating. Was it really hard to talk about any of the stuff? Not really. I mean, when I was younger, I probably wouldn't have talked about it, but as I've gotten more older and vulnerable, you just say, well, you know what? Yeah, hey, I did this. Look, I did drugs. I suffer from depression. I was bulimic. You just put it out there. I think it just comes getting older. You're a little bit more mature, a little less freaked out about what people will think of you.
Yeah, that's life.
When you're younger, you're really kind of, what people think of you is really important to you, I think.
Yes,
as an individual.
Especially someone who's in the public eye, like you were with Tesla. That has to put more pressure on you versus someone who's just living a 9-to-5 type life.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that I was in this, I am in this band, and I was in this band that was relatively famous in the rock scene. A lot of people, will judge you or would judge you, and I used to really worry about what they would think, and I've come to a point in my life where I don't really care. You let it go, and you go, look, here it is. Do with it what you will. have at it if you want, you know.
Sure. Now, from a reader's point of view, when you're reading the book, it kind of reads like over the years with Tesla in the beginning, and of course, even through maybe till today, it seems like you've kind of been, whether by choice or circumstance, the glue that kind of holds things together in many ways. You know, maybe you're talking more of a leadership role, or you've been the one who has been more grounded than the other band members. And I'm sure that
I don't know. It just kind of fell in that way, you know. It just
happened.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when me and Frank first started the band, it was that way as well. I mean, he was the music guy and I was the business guy. And, you know, it kind of just stayed that way. So, you know, I do probably try to keep us grounded. I'm, you know, the voice of reason, have been and some of the times. And, you know, today, it's been a long journey.
Sure.
You know, 37 years we've been doing it. And, you know, the one thing is that we all appreciate it. Where at a certain point, I think if you read the book, you see where we didn't respect what we had or appreciate what we had. And, you know, once we broke up, it kind of humbled us. And the second time around, I think we've appreciated it a lot more. And now with this COVID thing, it's kind of been another thing that's really made us come to appreciate what we have. I mean, you know, when I talk to all the guys, and everyone can't wait to get back together and you know,
and get
work and play and do what we do, you know.
Yeah, this has definitely been a difficult year for everyone, and you know, for those in the music industry, where you know, with records and music sales not being the livelihood, and touring keeping everybody going for a long time, and now that kind of stopped, it's been rough, I'm sure, on a lot of bands, and not only the bands, but the crews and everybody that goes along with putting on those.
Yeah, the whole industry. It's been rough on the whole industry, absolutely.
Now, you also talk a lot about the people, you know, obviously that shaped who you are and the people you've encountered along the way. And because I was brought up to believe that, you know, if you want anything in life, you've got to work. You got to work for it. You got to work your butt off for it, and hard work pays off. So tell me a memory, if you would, of Steve Klausman and his role in kind of the development of the band early on.
Well, when we met him, he was this guy locally that was trying to develop another band locally, and we went to him, and he saw the potential we had. And he encouraged us to try to write our own songs. And, you know, from that day on, it was like, look, we're going to get a record deal. You know, this is going to be for real. This wasn't about playing the clubs or playing cover material. It was like, you know, you write your own songs and you become, you know, a band like the band you're playing songs of. So he instilled that in us. And he you know, he had a great work ethic. I mean, he taught us how to work hard, and he never settled for anything less. If we slacked, he was on our ass.
Right.
So when you're young, you don't want some drill sergeant guy, you know. So we butt heads a lot when we were kids with him, but you know, until the day he died, you know, me and Frank always kind of viewed him as almost a father figure.
Sure.
And, you know, we're the best of friends. And we always tell everyone that, you know, he instilled this work ethic in us that we have to this day. And, you know, we were lucky to have met him. It wouldn't have happened without him, that's for certain.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned the songs and the songwriting, and one of the things that stuck with me about the book is that you were talking about it being about the song. You know, it's not about the guitar solo or the drum solo. It's about the song. So for you, what makes a song a great song?
I think for me, a great song is a song that you hear it, for the first time, and by the second chorus, you're singing it.
That's true. That's true. And the ones that stick with you instantly.
I think if you listen to Let It Be, by the time it gets to the second chorus, you know that chorus, and it's catchy, and you're singing it. I mean, to me, that's a great song.
Awesome, and that's how you approach when you're writing
Look,
songs.
I try to. I don't always get it right.
Right. Well, yeah.
I mean, that's the yardstick, isn't it?
Right.
I mean,
yeah. Let it be is kind of
Right. So you try to do that, and you don't always get it right. More than often, you fail. But the times you do get it right, those are the special ones.
Right. Absolutely. And Tesla's had a bunch of them, and you've also had not a lot going on with other people that you've met along the years, and you tell the story about meeting Paul McCartney and being crazy enough to run down there and track him down, but you also talk about a friendship that you have with Jimmy Page, and it's what I thought was so neat about it was that it's not always just music, because as fans of the bands, you think like, okay, these guys are friends, so they just get together and it's always a jam and they're always talking music, but that's not the case.
No, never.
And so when you talk in the book about Jimmy, that's really just an awesome story.
Yeah, I mean, we like food, we like art, we like vinyl records, we like movies, we like books, we like going places. We've gone places together. The last thing we ever really talk about is music. Although we have had conversations about music,
Sure.
Like stuff that we grew up on, or he grew up on. I spoke to him via text the other day, and he was telling me he saw this great Little Richard documentary and a Paul McCartney one, that because he knows I love Paul McCartney, and so we talk about that, but it's not that we talk about Led Zeppelin.
Right.
Or Tesla. He'll ask me what I'm doing. Are you on tour? What's going on? Or I'm making a record, this, that, and the other. But my relationship isn't, oh, Jimmy, tell me about Led Zeppelin. Tell me about when you played Madison Square Garden. It's not like that at all. We never talk about those things, really. And I think that's why I have a good friendship with him, because he gets that all the time, probably, from people. And, we're talking about, 18th century books and artists and Art Deco, just a load of things. For me, it's a really cool friendship, because I only really have one other close friend that's in a rock band. That's Joe Elliott.
Right, and he wrote the foreword for the book.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't hang out with a lot of guys in rock bands. I have a pretty diverse cast of characters that are my friends. My best friend is this gay guy. I hang out with a couple of doctor guys. They're not just guys in rock bands. Those are the last guys I hang out with.
Sure.
Because that's kind of the business I'm in.
Right. And
my friend's a photographer, Ross Halfin, another one of my friends.
Right.
So,
you tell some great stories about Ross and going out on a shoot with him, and you didn't know where he was going to go, but you ended up tagging along with him when he was shooting Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
And that was, a pretty emotional thing that happened. And then, of course, with Chris's suicide happening not that long ago, and, that was a moment in the book where it seemed that, it brought the whole idea of depression to the forefront. And I'm so glad that you are bringing it to the attention of people again in your book, because a lot of people think that if you have this great life, you can't have these issues and you can't have these problems, but everybody does, and everybody can.
Everybody does, yeah. No one's exempt. I don't care if you're the president of the United States, you can still get depressed.
Yeah, maybe him more so than anybody else right now, anyway.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I would be depressed if I was him right now. I'd be depressed with everything that's going on right now. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's been a tough ride for everybody. And I know a lot of people that are suffering, with these issues. This year has brought it in, tenfold and made it 100 times worse. So as someone who has gone through things like that, what advice would you give to somebody who's struggling right now?
You gotta hang tough, man. Like the song says, hang tough. It's funny with depression because people, if you tell somebody you suffer from depression, they view you as weak-minded, and there's always been this stigma to it.
Right.
And so a lot of people don't speak about it, which is why I did. I figured, well, I'm at a point now where I don't care what people think. If it helps somebody that I say, hey, look, I suffer from anxiety disorder and depression, and I have ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune disease, which aren't the most attractive things to talk about. It's not very glamorous or rock and roll, if you will,
but it's real.
But it's real. It's as real as it gets, and it helps somebody, then I'm happy to do it.
Awesome. Now, along with Tesla and the book coming out, you've been involved with a lot of other things, and your photography, like you mentioned, and you've been remodeling homes too, because in the book, you start off in Sacramento, then you're in Texas, and now you're in central New York. So is there something creatively that you haven't done yet that maybe you're itching to try when the time is right?
Don't know. Don't know. I mean, because even remodeling homes, that's creative. That's
right.
That's artistic.
Absolutely.
And I love it. I love architecture. I love old homes. I don't like new homes. I have this sense of nostalgia. Things in the 20s and 30s, the Deco period, the Art Nouveau period. I'm really drawn to that stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Artistically, I do music. I paint. I take photographs. I design. I guess if you wanted to call me interior designer or I could certainly probably do that because I have a passion for it.
Sure.
But I just go with the things that speak to me. I don't think I'll take up horseback riding. Like Frank's into that. Frank's really he rides horses in this sport called cutting. And he really likes it. I'm not into motorcycle riding like Jeff likes to ride dirt bikes. He's really into that.
Sure.
I think certain things speak to certain people. And for me, it's, this photography painting thing, it speaks to me. Music has always spoken to me. And, antiques and deco and taking a house and what's dilapidated and rebuilding it and turning it into something cool and restoring it to the period that it was built is pretty rewarding for me. I enjoy it.
Absolutely. Have you ever thought about documenting that, or do you document that with your photographs?
We kind of talked about it when I moved to Texas. We tried to get like one of those HGTV
right.
or somebody involved, and it never really got off the ground.
Right.
Because it would have been a cool TV show,
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Or even just a photography book, or some kind of
something like that. But I haven't been able to do that. So no, maybe that's the next thing. You just never know. Now we got this book writing thing, right?
Absolutely.
People have already hit me up about, will you do another book? And I probably will because I enjoyed this. I don't know what I'll do the book on just yet. I have a couple ideas, but don't really know. But I'd be up for doing another one. It's enjoyable.
Well, it was enjoyable to read. I definitely had fun reading it, and I hope that everybody gets a chance to pick it up and get a little insight into Brian Wheat and into Tesla and everything that you have going on. Can you give us a quick update on what might be happening with Tesla once we're kind of past this pandemic hold that we're in?
Well, I think the first thing is we'll get back out and start playing concerts.
Okay.
Because we haven't played for 9 months, so we've really just been sitting around. So I mean, and like I say in our book, this is how we earn our living. So it's we got to get back to work for one,
right?
And we want to get out there and connect with our fans again and play shows, and then after that, I imagine we'll start addressing making another record and writing some new songs. I think we'll have a bit to say now. After all this, there's definitely some songs in there. I'm sure.
Well, it was a pleasure chatting with you today, Brian, and we do thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule and filling us in on everything in regards to Son of a Milkman, and we hope to see you out on the road sooner rather than later with Tesla.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait to get out there. Thank you for having me.
It's not what you got, it's what you give. It ain't the life you choose.